Alright, so I'm going to debate this out with myself. Why is it that dragons are fiction? When somebody starts talking about dragons, they start talking about like Dungeons and Dragons and nerds and sci-fi and all of the science fiction realm is immediately the first page, right? When you're talking about dragons, it's always like mythical and fire breathing. But that's interesting because in the Bible it talks about dragons. It talks about the devil being a dragon. It talks about Leviathan. It talks about Behemoth. It talks about Seraphim, cherubim. It talks about the hosts of heaven and how that they're different creatures that are sort of like conglomerates of different things. They have different attributes. Doesn't it sound like a really good switcheroo that dinosaurs are renowned worldwide for being real? Like, they're real. Dinosaurs are real. Everybody knows that dinosaurs are real. And everybody knows that dragons are not real. But what if it's reversed? Just play it out. What if it is actually reversed? What if dragons are real and dinosaurs are fictional? And all of the bones that we're finding are hard evidence of dragons. And that the greatest lie told the entire human race is that dinosaurs are real. That means that every single store that you walk into and you see dinosaurs, that it's all a fabricated lie to capture the imagination of a child at an early age and convince them that dinosaurs are real and dragons are fake. That dinosaurs are the historical proof, the undisputed fact that, 260 million years ago, dinosaurs walked the earth. Why is that so important that we shove that down people's throats? Why is it at an early age it's important for kids, and especially boys, to be so fixated and infatuated with dinosaurs when the Bible talks about dragons over and over and over and over again? And the only real difference between a dinosaur and a dragon, other than, what Google will say, which is, dragons aren't real. The other difference is fire breathing and flying. If you look at a T-Rex and you say a T-Rex, it comes from a chicken. So if a T-Rex has feathers and it can fly, doesn't that make it a dragon? And why is it so scary to acknowledge that there is a possibility that dragons are real? Why would that change anything? How would it fundamentally change the entire world? Well, fundamentally, it wouldn't change the whole world. We still breathe air, we're still on Earth, blah, blah, blah. Would it change? The only thing it changes is the pertinence of the Bible. If there are no historical cave paintings, drawings, renditions of dinosaurs prior to 1842, when the word dinosaurs was coined, but there is documented proof of dragons, why is it that dinosaurs just appeared one day in our literature, in our art, in our culture? And prior to that, the word dragon was used synonymously. Why is there a mind shift between one to the other? What purpose does it serve to browbeat and force feed dinosaurs to every kindergartner, every preschooler, every elementary school kid is told about dinosaurs. When you open up a book about history of the earth, page 1 is dinosaurs. That is interesting to me, because if something isn't true, you don't gotta prove it, right? It's a lie. If the lie is a lie, then you don't gotta prove that it's a lie, because it's a lie. So why is it so important that we discredit dragons? Why is it important? Why can't they exist? What is gonna hurt your feelings so deeply that dragons exist or existed? Why would it be such a stretch of the imagination that dragons are the description of fallen angels? Lucifer is described as a dragon. It even got into detail. Red, 7 heads, 10 crowns, body like a leopard, feet like a bear. Interesting. Why would that matter? Why would it? Oh, probably because if you disprove the Bible on page 1, and the Bible is God's love letter, then basically you're telling all of humanity that God is a liar and he doesn't love you. And why are you force-feeding boys to believe in dinosaurs? So they don't grow up and question everything you've taught them. Because everybody thinks dinosaurs are cool. Dinosaurs are awesome. Every little boy on Earth, if you show them a dragon, they're gonna go rawr. You show them a dinosaur, they're gonna go rawr. Show an adult a dragon, they get indignant. That's just not real. That's just a work of fiction. Show me a dragon from 1,000 years ago. Okay, show me a painting. Now, show me a painting of a dinosaur from 1,000 years ago. Come on! If they're real, then there should be proof, right? Right. You can prove dragons were real by literature. That every continent, every culture talks about them. They don't talk about dinosaurs. 1,000 years ago. Let's start 1,000 years ago. You've got art, literature, and the Bible talking about dragons. You don't have people talking about Triceratops, Bronchiosaurus. Yeah, you got stories of Nessie, Loch Ness Monster, that suspiciously sounds a lot like a dragon. You have stories of seafaring people talking about great beasts in the water. Well, that sounds a lot like Leviathan. That's just my point, though. Like, why would it be important? Why would it be important if it's not true? If it's not true, and dinosaurs are dinosaurs and dragons are dragons, and they're not the same, why is it so important that you make me believe that dragons aren't real when the Bible tells me they are?